Hey, Raindrops. Yes, come through. We got merch. Finally, Carlos King is giving y'all merch. We got Raindrops. Allegedly. Come on, allegedly mugs, allegedly t-shirts. We have it all. Make sure you go on carloskingshop.com. That's right, carloskingshop.com. Pick it up, tell a friend, phone a friend, and let's celebrate this all together. Now get into this video and make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and hit what? Yes, the notification button so you don't miss an episode. See ya. Hey, Raindrops. I mean, do I even need to do an introduction? Well, maybe I do because Miss Thing is banging, honey. Yes, Jasmine Henley-Brown for the bangs.
With the bang, oh my god, I'm so happy to be here with the Kang again. Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
I'm excited for your bang. So what brought on this look, honey? I'm living for it.
Honestly, I'm in my Nicki Minaj era. Okay. I'm ready for Pink Friday, the album. I'm ready for Pink Friday, the perfume. I'm just ready. I should have threw in a little pink for old
Like
time's
me.
sake. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm always ready for Pink Friday, Nicki Minaj. And I'm going to call you Jazz Chun-Li. Or are you Roman?
I am not Jasmine. I am Aladdin. I've had enough already.
Have we ever talked about my love for Nicki Minaj? Do you know this?
When I was at your home and you were getting ready and you were like, I'm about to listen to music. I'm like, what are you going to listen to? You were like, Nicki Minaj. I'm like, that's when I knew. I mean, I knew from our first conversation, but it was at that moment, I was like, my discernment, I knew it. I knew we were going to see each other. I knew it.
I'm not Jasmine. I'm Aladdin. You better give me a romance revenge featuring him. This episode is already off to a good start. I'm happy we're laughing because I don't think we're going to be laughing for the rest of this conversation because today we are talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac and Raindrops. Just so you know, Jasmine is on her YouTube hosting podcast-ish. If you haven't watched her, go to her YouTube channel. She is amazing on TikTok. Please support my girl. She is doing what she's destined to do. And what I told Miss Thing, like, you need to be really doing this, Jazz. You're really good. Like, come behind the scenes and show the world that this gorgeous Black girl is capable of being multifaceted. So I'm so proud of you. Just know that.
Thank you, Uncle Los. I appreciate that. I really do. I genuinely appreciate it. You have been one of the people that's been like, bitch, stop producing. You're great at producing, but you know what you really can do. So I really appreciate the push.
Yes, no, keep doing it. But on Sunday night, your TikTok video went viral. And you mentioned how the Real Housewives of Potomac is becoming unwatchable, and you gave your reasons. And a little thing for my Raindrops, I wasn't going to recap Potomac this season because I did not want to suffer through another season of me saying something's off. But when I saw Jasmine's tweet, I said, you know what? If I'm going to talk about this, I want to do it with my girl who told me on this very podcast last year that she wasn't going to watch it, that she does not think the women like each other. Jasmine, take it away. What are your thoughts on this current season? And we're only a few episodes in, but I think it's indicative of what to expect because I don't see it getting better. But share your thoughts on the Real Housewives of Potomac thus far.
Yes, I feel like this is a deja vu moment because, like you mentioned, I remember being on this very podcast talking about how last season it was feeling too dark and I just couldn't go on. And I'm feeling the same thing. And I told myself I was just going to clock out of Potomac, right? I have a few girls that I really, really like on there, but I was just going to clock out of it as a show. But I was sitting and waiting for the best show on Bravo, Married to Medicine, to premiere. Okay. So I was like, you know what? While I'm waiting for my girls on Married to Medicine, I'm going to see what Potomac is talking about for season 8. And the first episode, I made a TikTok video about that. Their first episode compared to Married to Medicine's premiere episode was very boring to me. It wasn't horrible, but when you put it up against Married to Medicine had a phenomenal premiere, right? So in comparison, it made Potomac just look a little strange. But I was like, oh, Potomac has some interesting storylines that I see them kind of laying the breadcrumbs for. I'm going to follow it. But here we are, I think, with 3 or 4 episodes in, and I'm just like, I'm getting that same feeling again that I got last season of it just feeling uncomfortable. It feels disjointed. These ladies are more fractured than they've ever been. Okay, I feel like I'm watching Candiace on a completely different show than the rest of these ladies. And I don't like to see it. I hated the scene in this last episode with them like ganging up on Wendy because Nneka, and I hope I'm saying her name correctly, Nneka, because she said something about the voodoo with Wendy's mom. And I'm like, if that was a rumor about anybody else, they will want to investigate it a little more because they all have a shared hatred of Wendy. Nneka's word is bond. Y'all just met her 2 seconds ago, and all of a sudden what she says is correct. It's just weird. It's giving Mean Girls, and someone on Twitter really summed up my feelings. They were like, it triggered me. And I was like, I think that's what it was too. It triggered me because I remember being like middle school, high school, and having like a clique of friends. And then one person decides they don't like you and they turn the whole clique against you. And now it's uncomfortable when we sitting at the lunch table. That's what Potomac is giving. So uncomfortable, not really feeling it so far.
No, okay. So one thing about the first episode, I gave it a 10 out of a 10. I did not compare it to the excellent premiere of
You're always so
Medicine.
generous.
I'm going to tell you why, because some people said yes, and some people said, Carlos, you are way too generous. I appreciated the fact that they gave us what I was looking for, which was focus on Robin and Juan. I don't care about the other ladies at this point. I want Robin and Juan to have the conversation. I want Gizelle to hold Robin's feet to the fire. I want these women to really have a real conversation with her. When I saw Charisse get choked up, relating her experience with her ex-husband to Juan, I said, okay, this is real. They're finally having a real moment. It's not about these rumors, somebody's husband's cheating. I enjoyed it for the sheer factor of I was able to see the aftermath of the Robin and Juan saga. And that's all I wanted. So I, as a viewer, I was very happy with that. Then came episode 2, then 3, and so forth. And I'm with you. What you and I both watched, which was this pickleball scene, and even prior to that, I don't like to watch a show where the cast don't speak to each other. It's a red flag for, okay, we know that you guys are getting paid to be around each other. And this is the gag. We already know that. I'm here as a reality TV kingpin, okay, to tell the kingpin, honey. I'm the king of reality, baby. At this point, call me the kingpin. I am somebody who can say to you all, yes, it's challenging when the group is at a discourse where they just aren't able to really come together. However, that's when you have to step in and remind them of the bigger picture and work with them to get to a happy medium. Seeing Wendy walk into scenes and Gizelle's not speaking to her, Candiace not speaking to Gizelle, they're not speaking to Robin, and they're not talking to each other. And what you said, when it comes to Nneka, the unfortunate part is this, Nneka, and I want you to listen to me loud and clear. You're losing this game already because I know nothing about you besides the fact that you're coming for Wendy. you have this handsome husband who I'm very intrigued with. I want to see your lifestyle. Yes, I understand Nneka doesn't control the editing, and we'll get to that part later. But it's one of those things where I would have said to anybody, look, I don't feel comfortable having a conversation about my heritage and what I'm hearing with these ladies. I'll give y'all what y'all want, the conversation. I think me and Wendy need to do a one-on-one because I at least want to give her the benefit of the doubt and have some grace. When she called Wendy a bitch, I said, you have studied reality TV for 15 years. You study Potomac. You watched Nene Leakes highlight reel. And now you want to become a moment.
She was giving fan from the first scene.
Yeah.
And I said either she came in with an agenda to feud with Wendy for the approval. That damn Gizelle Bryant. Every girl that comes to this show, Gizelle is Regina George. Every girl that comes to this show wants the approval of Gizelle. Exactly. Look, cheers to that. With my Barbie.
You are really on your Barbie-ish. I love it.
I am. It's very on brand. But right, everybody that comes to this show, they want the approval of Gizelle. And so I think Nneka watched this. She came in with an agenda. She said, I'm going for Wendy because it's easy. It's low-hanging fruit. But I wanted them to be a dynamic duo. When I heard there was another beautiful, successful Nigerian girl, I said, oh, that's the takedown we need. Wendy and this girl, boom, together. But unfortunately, we're not going to get that. And it's really disappointing. But I 100% feel like Nneka came in with an agenda to specifically get into it with Wendy because it's low-hanging fruit and it's going to put her in favor with Gizelle. And then by proxy, the rest of the cast that doesn't like Wendy.
I agree. And I'm going to go a step further with you. The basis of their beef is very Mariah Carey. I don't know her. Right? That seems to be the basis of this beef. So to remind the audience, Ashley, who by far is the most unlikable, messiest, boring housewife this genre has ever seen.
Talk
Ashley,
about it.
You said what?
I said talk about it.
Oh, Ashley has nothing going on without Michael. Even with Michael, I still didn't enjoy her as much because she never gave anything of substance. Ashley belongs on the Disney Channel auditioning for Pokemon or The Little Mermaid and being down in the sea and just because she's a pretty girl. You know, she's a pretty girl. You're not a reality star because you don't have the ability to be real. You are there as a figure to be messy and don't have the substance to back it up. Like, anyways, I whatever. So Ashley, because girl, I can keep going further. Ashley had a conversation with Nneka, and Nneka said, "Yeah, Wendy knows me, but she's acting like she doesn't know me." And then Wendy's like, "I met her, I don't know her." And then we found out that Eddie allegedly unfollowed Nneka's husband, and then when Nneka's husband tried to check Eddie, Eddie's like, "But I don't know you. But have we met? But I don't know you. But have we met? Bro, I met you." Whatever. I say all that to say this, Jasmine. This is what I believe happened, allegedly. When you cast a new person on a reality show, they have to come in through somebody when they're auditioning. This is what I believe happened. When Nneka was auditioning for Potomac, she told the producers, allegedly, "Oh, I know Wendy. I know Wendy, and my husband actually knows Eddie. They went to the same school together." And then the producer said, "Oh my gosh, hey, Wendy, do you know Nneka?" "Who?" "Nneka so-and-so." "I mean, we met once or twice, but I don't know her like that." "Well, can you bring her in?" "No, I'm not bringing her in. I got somebody else I can bring in who I'm cool with." Yes, Jasmine, reaction. Wendy was probably like, "Nah, I don't know her like that to bring her in as my friend because I know how this show works. No, I'm not going to co-sign her." No. And then listen, I'm not going to say who said it. it got brought back to Nneka. Well, Wendy says she don't know you like that. And that's how this beef started. Wendy probably went and told her sister, yeah, they're trying to have this girl come on the show with me. I don't know her like that. And then it became this big thing. That's what happened. That's what happened.
I am gooped and gagged because that holds up as a theory and it would make sense because I was like, her beef with Wendy seems so intense. It seems really intense. And I'm like, there has to be something else that makes so much sense to me. And I bet you, Carlos, we probably all know who told Nneka that Wendy said she didn't know hers. I don't think it's a big secret. How you doing, Gizelle? Either Gizelle or Ashley did it. Actually, it probably was Ashley because Gizelle does not talk to Wendy. One of them. Look, allegedly, I get it. I get
this
it.
Right?
I have a question for you though, Carlos, that I've been wondering as a viewer, and I would love your expert honesty on this. Is it required, like, are new incoming housewives required to like watch some of the season that they're going to be on or have some working knowledge of it? Because I noticed a lot of them claim to never watch the show until they get cast. And I'm like, I'm not buying that, but I want to hear from the expert. Do they have to know? Or is it something they just kind of take and learn on their own?
Okay, so I'll preface this by saying what I used to do because everybody changes and has been the rule. When I started, the answer was we prefer you didn't watch it because we wanted you to come in without having preconceived notions. That's why when you used to watch Atlanta post Kenya, every new girl came in coming for Kenya because they watched the show. And that's no secret. So to answer your question, it's not a requirement. And when I was producing Housewives, I and the rest of the producers would say, please don't watch it. Like, come in and form your own relationships. Now, what is a requirement? When you are a new housewife, you must be introduced to the cast by somebody who you may have met 5 minutes before filming. That is tea, and that is facts. And that's why I strongly believe they said, to your point, oh, possibly how dope would it be to have two Nigerian women come in together? And I think that would have been great. What I believe happened was Wendy wanted to bring in her friend who we have now seen on the show, rightfully so, because you want to make sure that this person has my back due to the fact that Potomac is not a show about friendships. And I hope I'm not saying anything that is shocking. Potomac is not about friendships. Potomac is a social experiment about how we can get along for a paycheck and what secrets can we uncover with everyone else and play along to get along so we can get paid along the way. I'll be real with you. Something in my spirit disturbed me when I saw Nneka's husband trying to chomp Eddie. Like, what? Like, are we that bored to where we are following this weird story based on the fact that Wendy just did not want to bring on Nneka as her girl? Just because we're Nigerian doesn't mean I need to bring her on. She's not my friend.
I think there's two ways to look at that. First of all, though, I'm going to say no disrespect to Wendy and no disrespect to my man. Y'all better leave Eddie alone. Leave Eddie alone.
Period.
Getting that out of the way. The other thing is, I mean, the flip side of this is if that is the case and Nneka has a vendetta against Wendy because Wendy didn't want to bring her on. I do question why Wendy didn't want to bring her on, because what I know of Nigerian folks is Wendy, Nneka, Nigerian sisters, right? That's how I've come to know of Nigerian people and how they get down. So I am curious to know why Wendy wouldn't want to be the one to usher in a new Nigerian baddie. Did she not want the competition? So then that lends a little bit of credibility to potentially what Nneka was saying about Wendy's people like calling around because maybe they didn't want another Nigerian baddie on the show. I think it was ripe for a takeover, but both sides to me, there's the waters are murky. because I speak for the viewers, right?
Yes.
We are viewing the show, and so many people like me are watching, and they're wondering, has production put Nneka up to this because they're trying to phase Wendy out, or just create a scene where Wendy doesn't want to return or doesn't want to film as much? Like, it's been said that this production company particularly plays favorites on Potomac, and that favorite is not Wendy. So there's a theory now that production brought Nneka in just to rival Wendy. Do you have any insight on that?
I don't have any insight on that at all, just to be honest with you. I don't. And I try not to ask my friends in production because I don't want, number one, with this podcast, honey, and how successful it is. Thank you, Jazz. They don't want to talk to me anyway, child.
I was gonna say, if they even are allowed to talk to you about anything outside of, hey,
Child.
how are you?
So I don't know about the production aspect of it. I'll say this much. Based on what I've been seeing, nothing has been happening this season, and this is the one time they had an argument. Gizelle is checked out. Candiace
checked
is
out.
Yes, Gizelle's checked out. Robin's checked out. She even said it, like, I don't care. Robin is, Juan is telling everybody he doesn't care. Robin and Juan are both checked out. Gizelle is checked out. Karen is just trying to make sure she gets paid. Candiace is checked out. Wendy, this is what is so interesting about Wendy to me, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Wendy has the potential to be a force multiplier. Wendy has this leadership characteristic, this quality of she's beautiful, she's smart, and when she walks into the room, you notice her. Wendy has a lot of potential to be in charge of the girls, but two things are happening, which is why when it comes to Potomac, and that's why I'm very specific when I talk about the essence of that particular show does not do a good job at being friends off camera. They just don't. And because it is Gizelle Bryant's show, and because Gizelle Bryant, to me, is everybody's favorite that's involved with the show, I think it's hard for other girls to shine because they know that. I think Candiace has great potential to be a Kenya Moore. I believe that Wendy's and Candiace light are being dimmed because everybody wants to make sure Gizelle shines and that she's the light.
So then, should production be removed? Should Bravo remove this production company? I know, and I'm asking for the people want to know. They have a right to know. Okay.
No, listen, I think there needs to be, this is what I do know. I think there needs to be an overall conversation about what direction are we taking this show. And I would never just blame a production company. I think there's so much hands in this pot that you really have to, it's sort of like when somebody embezzles your money.
Embezzle?
Black China, who was Nicki Minaj's alter ego of the Monster video. So everything goes back to Nicki. Yes. Who hosted the Potomac reunion?
Full circle, my man.
Come on, Barbs. We're here for you guys. When you embezzle someone's money, the FBI and the accounting always says follow the money. Because when you follow the money, you know who the culprit is. I think when it comes to that production, the cast, who's ever involved, you have to follow where it stinks, like where it's rotting, because this cast is disjointed. And I meant to say disjointed, not discourse, FYI. This cast is disjointed and it shows. And this show cannot continue with this particular cast. So I think changes have to be made. Mm-hmm. But you got to follow who's making it disjointed. And to be honest with you, and I'm just being very real, I don't know who that is. It could be a cast member. It could be somebody just involved saying, we let's ice out Wendy and Candiace and let's not ever film with them, because if you don't film with Wendy or Candiace, then by proxy, they have to be removed. I feel bad for Candiace. My spirit, when I watched this show, this particular season, I think Candiace is the most unprotected housewife, second to Kenya Moore.
Wow. Really?
I think Candiace, who came on our podcast, right, Jazz? Who came on the podcast.
Love her down.
Even you was like, I'm like, no, she's dope. Wendy, when Wendy came on the podcast, we were like, oh, we low-key stand.
But to your point, I can also, speaking of people coming on the podcast, Gizelle came on the podcast. And I say this to anybody who, like, because I have friends that are like, girl, I can't stand Gizelle. I'm like, Gizelle is hard to dislike when you meet her. Like on the show, it's very easy to call her what she is on the show. Meeting Gizelle it's really hard to dislike her. I dare anybody to meet her and chop it over her and then walk away and say you dislike her. It's really hard to do.
Period.
But that's huge. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm glad you said that. Gizelle, and that's the reason why, hey Gizelle, if you're listening, I know you are. I fight for Gizelle because of what you just said. I know who she is on a personal level. And last season, I kept saying to Gizelle via our personal conversations that I would not disclose, in addition to on the podcast, I want Gizelle to be who she is in real life. That's all I want. Gizelle in real life, who you experienced behind the scenes as a producer. You were like, she's cool as shit. I'm like, no, I know. I love Gizelle. That's my point that I'm making. The essence of this show is not built to make these people shine in a real way. And the reason why I say Candiace is the most unprotected housewife, second to Kenya Moore, is because this woman prayed for the gig. She got the gig. She can read like a librarian, and she's beautiful and she's talented. And she has all of these great qualities, yet her light is so dimmed that when she's in scene, you can tell she feels uncomfortable. You can tell it's uncomfortable for Wendy to walk into Ashley's party, having to like hug Karen and then walk by Gizelle and then walk by Mia and then missing Charisse and then be like, oh, I'm sorry, but I don't want to touch this. This show needs a motherfucking reboot. It's disgusting to watch. I'm over it. I don't want to see this level of disjointedness on a show where we want these women to have fun and they're not having fun.
Absolutely. Going back to Candiace is the most quintessential housewife as we know them on Potomac. Okay. She is literally, she's married. She has a husband. Okay. She has a career that is budding that we get to see. So we get to follow a lot of her personal story. Her family dynamic is super interesting. And she was willing to show us that, and still is willing to talk about her finances. Like Miss Dorothy asking her how Chris is getting paid. The other girls would have shied away from. Candiace is willing to give that to you. Okay. She's bringing looks like beautiful girl, educated, comes from the pageant world, comes from a well-to-do Black family, which is why I'm always going to stand her, because we don't get to see that a lot on television. And like you said, she can read. That's everything we want. That's every characteristic in a housewife that we want. And for some reason, she is not seen as the favorite through production. The way people were trying to eat me up for writing for her, it seems like some of the viewers are really conflicted with how they feel. Candiace, to me, quintessential housewife. She is the closest to a housewife prototype on Potomac.
Oh, 100%. And it's sad because Wendy and Candiace, to me, could be the future of Potomac, because everything you said, same thing with Wendy. She's a doctor. She's educated. Her husband is gorgeous. Her kids are beautiful. Her mom is interesting and entertaining. She has this juxtaposition of, I'm a doctor, but I low key want to be a thought sometimes by the way I dress. Like, and we talked about that on my podcast. And remember when she said on the podcast, Jasmine, she said, Carlos, I was raised to be the most educated and to be a doctor. and I never got a chance to experience who I am. So when you see me doing the candles and all this other stuff, no, I'm not faking it. You're seeing a woman figuring it out. And I said, that makes so much sense to me. And it's what you said, I want to see that. The Potomac is built on how many arguments can we have? How much shade can we throw? And yes, we want to see that and we like it. Let's be all be real, we like it. But we like that to be 40% of the entertainment in the episode. But we really want to see personal story, personal conversations. We want to see friendships being funny. The reason why we love frickin' frack Phaedra and Portia was not because they had beef. It's because when all the cast were arguing, they have funny side commentary. They were funny. Our favorite trip in Atlanta history is Savannah, season 6, because the girls had fun and they got along and they spoke about real conversations. Potomac has never, in the 8 seasons, and tell me if I'm wrong, Jasmine, tell me a moment where Potomac had an episode where all the women got along, had real conversations, and leaned on each other.
I don't remember. I don't recall, but to be fair, my memory just isn't the greatest.
That's okay. It doesn't exist.
So much.
In the words of Johnny Cochran, if it doesn't fit, it must have quit. So I'm going to say this. If it doesn't exist, it must have quit. There you go.
I'm going to tell you something you are wrong about.
Ooh, tell me.
I don't think Wendy is a force multiplier. Like,
I say has potential to be.
I don't think she has potential to be.
Okay.
I don't think this is the vehicle for, I said this last time. I don't think this is the proper vehicle for Wendy. One thing I will tell you about Wendy, when I watch her with her family, it's my favorite. That's my favorite win right there. Watching her with her family, watching her just figure things out. I respect that so much because not enough people have the tenacity to think about something or have a new interest and see it all the way through. Like Wendy, if she says today, I'm joining the circus, we're going to watch her become a fucking clown. Okay. She's going to see it through to the end. So I respect that so much because not enough people, not enough people are that. But Wendy always feels like she is on the defense from day one, from the time she was introduced to the cast. And I guess this is kind of a bad thing because she wasn't introduced season 1, episode 1. So she already came in with some preconceived notions. So she came in with the 4 degrees. I'm a doctor, address me as such, all of that. I have always felt like Wendy walks into a room, and you're right, strikingly beautiful. You notice she's there, but on Potomac, when she's being recorded, it feels like she walks into a room preparing to have to read somebody or preparing to argue. And a lot of it is because of how they treat her, right? But that's why I can't say she has potential to be a force multiplier because I haven't seen her outside of defense mode. Like my friend Diamond said the same thing. There's not been a time where we've seen Wendy just be able to relax in Wendy. And that is why, to me, she doesn't have potential to be a force multiplier, because a force multiplier, I'm coming in on my own terms, period.
Yes. No, I definitely see your point. But this is what I will say to you in response to that. She was never given the space to do so.
Honestly, you made a great point of Gizelle being the favorite. No one who does have potential, we might not ever see it. You're an executive producer, the kingpin of reality TV. So you see these ladies through a different lens than most of us do, right? So we aren't able to see what production is showing us. Which brings me to like my next point when we talk about who is to blame. I think there's a 3-tier blaming system here. Okay. I think the cast, the girls, they are to blame. Yes. I think production is to blame. Yes. Because production can do a lot, but it goes back to the women because they can only edit around the content that they get. So if they're not getting good content, then they just have to work with what they got. But I think the third one, and I know I'm going to get jumped for this, it's on us as the viewers. Like, I think a lot of it has, yes. I think the fandom, I think we've become very toxic and very mean to these ladies. We've become a bit unhinged. and it's forcing them to act. They don't want to really show who they truly are because they are fearful of like how people are going to respond to that. It's like every season people pick one housewife that they hate and they try to like ruin her life. And like if I'm on TV, I'm gonna like pull back too. Cause I'm like, I don't want to give you all this ammunition with my family, with my career. Cause the day you decide you hate me, you're gonna try to take all of that down. And like a lot of that is on us as viewers. So I think there's,
Yes.
a 3-tier blaming system. And I, just as a fandom, I think we can do better, and myself included.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. And what I will speak to is your second point about the production aspect of it as well, because this is what I will say. And I think you and I spoke about this before. I know when my cast is in trouble. Let's just go back to Atlanta Housewives. I think I said this to you. I was extremely tired of Kenya versus Phaedra. And on the Philippines trip, season 7, I locked them both in the room. And I said, you two have to figure this out because I cannot endure another season, nor can my audience, of you two beefing over something where Apollo admitted he lied about. Move on. Like, it was season 8, I'm sorry. Move on. We're exhausted. And they literally had this emotional scene. I remember telling Nene season 6, the premiere episode of season 6, Cynthia had a white party, and Nene and Kenya had this funny exchange about Nene inviting Walter to the wedding and blah blah blah. And Nene said, "No bitch is going to tell me who I can and cannot invite." Right? That was episode 1. By episode 2, you saw Nene bring Kenya, this woman she just had this argument with, around the girls, because I said to Nene, I can't have Kenya being iced out. You are, sorry, ladies, I did say this to her and I will admit it. Nene, this is your show. This is your show. You have to bring Kenya around the girls, because when the girls see you visually walk in with Kenya, they're going to say, okay, I guess we all will talk about it and move on. And that's how we were able to get this cast to be together season 6. Potomac needs that desperately. I will love to get my hands on Gizelle. You may disagree with me, Jasmine. I desperately want to get my hands on Gizelle and say to her some of what I already said. I want to say to her, this is your show, and you want this show to be great, and you have to come in. And it's, the producers can say what they want, the network can say what they want, the PA, the fans can say what they want. This is your show. And if you want to be the face of the show, go in and say, hey, ladies, Wendy, our issue ain't that deep. Candiace ain't that deep. Let's do our jobs. We ain't got to call each other at night and read each other bedtime stories. But let's get along because our show is suffering. I wish Gizelle was like Nene in that sense, where Nene, say what you want about her, Nene cared about the show. She wanted the show to be great. To your point, Jazz, that is a force multiplier. And I want that for Gizelle. I want that desperately for her. I want to get on my knees and beg Gizelle, can you save this show? Because if you show any ounce of like a leadership, they're going to follow. I believe in my heart of hearts, and I love Wendy and Candiace. I believe Wendy and Candiace is also looking for that from Gizelle. I think if Gizelle came up to them the way Wendy got Mia, come here, Mia, it ain't that deep. We good. I want Gizelle to do that, and I think the show can be saved.
It can, I agree with you, most of it. Gizelle and Candiace, though, a sexual, discomfort rumor with Chris, I think that is kind of bordering on like the point of no return. Honestly. So I don't know if it's that easy for those two to come together. And I'm gonna say this. I think if they don't come together, Wendy and Candiace, as much as I want Candiace on the show until the wheels fall off of it, they might need to move around. If they're not willing to come together, nobody's really talking to Candiace like that. Nobody's really talking to Wendy, but they're talking to each other. if production is going to make a decision, right, they're going to go with the majority, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. In a perfect world, Gizelle and Candiace can come back together, but that's tough after somebody tries to accuse your husband of that.
Is it tougher than Kandi and Phaedra? Because I never put two and two together until what you said earlier. Because they made a decision not to bring Phaedra back, right?
I think it's on the same level. I think it's the same level of intensity. Someone was accused of something that is so far beyond what they would really do. I think in the case with Gizelle and Candiace, and I don't know if this makes it worse or better, Gizelle acknowledged, like, I never accused him of this. I just said I felt uncomfortable, right? Like Phaedra Kandi, that was a accusation that was told to another person to then be perpetuated, and that was dirty and dangerous. In Gizelle's case, I will give her that. She did say, like, I never accused him of anything. It just made me uncomfortable. But I think you can't ring that bell once it's rung. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that and know what the implication is and then go back and be like, well, I wasn't accusing him of anything. You know how you said it and you know what the implication is. So I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I think they're both the same level of intensity, though. Very awful things to say about a person.
And I think that's why Gizelle would need to apologize for the implication. Not that you didn't mean it that way, but it was implied. And I think there needs to be an apology. But you are right. Look, this show is definitely going to go through a casting change. It's sad because Potomac had the potential to be a great housewife show. The reason why I stopped watching Jersey is because I was sick and tired of this forced relationship between Melissa and Teresa, and it was too disjointed. Same thing with New York City Housewives. It was like Leah, Ebony versus the OGs. It was weird. You saw what happened with that. What cast can stay on Potomac in order for it to continue, and what cast member needs to be removed?
This is tricky. My gut wants to say Mia can go because, I've just never seen it from Miss Mia. I think Mia, I don't even know if that's her real name because she lies so much. Like Heavenly said about Phaedra on Mary Smith, truth ain't in the bitch. And I don't know this Mia. Lady. But look, and I don't know Mia for real, but just the way she was introduced to us, I'm just like, at first I was like, she could go, but somebody, I know I keep bringing up Twitter, but I've been having such a great time talking to people about it. Somebody brought it up last night. Mia is getting divorced and she's dating again. That's a personal story that we want to see. So I'm like, I'll change my tune. Mia, she can stay for me. Okay. Ashley Darby demoted. I want to say get rid of her altogether because I personally don't see it for her, but I understand the role she plays on this cast. But she's going through a divorce with Michael, squeezing butts, wanting to suck Darby, and we're not getting the details of that. Chop, okay? Because you should be giving us a lot more. So she can be demoted, but she can stay on for her bone collector duties. Gizelle... People are going to be mad at me. Gizelle can stay. Gizelle can stay because when she has good moments, she has good moments. She's funny. I love seeing her daughters. She's entering a new chapter with her oldest daughter going to college. I don't buy her dating life. I think with Gizelle, like I said last time, the Sherman thing embarrassed her so much. We will never see past. Yeah, and she got these young guys on here because she don't care about them, right?
They thirsty to be on the show. Let's call it what it is, Jasmine.
Exactly. So she's fine putting them on the show because it doesn't matter if people embarrass them. So Gizelle, she could stay for me. Robin should have been fired after it came out that Juan was cheating on her and she knew about it. And instead of like talking about it on the show, she talked about it on her podcast. Production. That's when y'all step in and say, girl, pink slip or let's reshoot. They could have pulled a Vanderpump Rules, brought the cameras back out, okay, and we're reshooting a whole nother episode. Because what you mean? This is where I'm not signing up for Patreon to hear about that, but I would have watched it on TV. I know. So Robin, she can go. I think also breaking her and Gizelle up, we get a different Gizelle without Robin. Candy Girl is staying. Candy Girl is staying. Karen is staying. I think Karen, I love Karen. Karen, please don't be mad at me. She can be demoted though to a friend of, because I don't think there's a lot that we're gonna get from Karen anymore either. They embarrassed her about her finances. I don't think she wants, people to be in her business that much. Friend of Wendy. I think Wendy can go. If I like Wendy though, like I said, Wendy can go, and then she can go and jump on The View. She can be like a rotating panelist on The View, because that's what I see for her. Nneka, see you later. Shouldn't have even been here. What about you?
Okay. I'm proud of you. That was very different than last year when you said everybody goes, Candiace stays. So I'm okay. All right. So that was good. Okay, listen, let's talk about it. Gizelle stays for obvious reasons. However, I just wish there's one person in Gizelle's life that she would listen to that can say to her, I wish Gizelle would call Nene Leakes and say, what do I do to come across as if I care about this? Let me not say that. Gizelle does care about the show, care about these women. I want her to care about the women as much as she does about the show, because you can't be the greatest housewife of all time on Potomac and not live up to that and do the work. I didn't give you that title because you're pretty. I gave it to you because you have the potential to rally the troops, and I'm not seeing that. So I want to see that from Gizelle. Gizelle stays. Karen stays. She's a fan favorite, and she's somebody people want to see. I don't think you will ever get any real personal story from Karen. I think that's done. I agree with you with Frenda, but I think Karen wants to. I think the network and Karen wants her to be in the poster. That's the only reason, and because they don't want backlash from the fans, especially after Megan Thee Stallion just said Karen's her favorite. So there you go. I think Ashley should be removed. I do not want to see Ashley as a friend of. I think bye. I think thank you for your services. You were great at being a bone collector at one point. And Ashley, my favorite scene of yours is when you told Candiace when she was jamming the knife on the table, girl, don't break your mama's table. That line was epic. If Ashley did nothing else, Ashley gave a lie that even Candiace said, damn, bitch, you got me. That was good.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for Ashley to go. I think you did it for fun, and it's time to go. Ashley can go. I want Wendy to stay. I want Wendy to be empowered to be great by the people around her, because I think she has the potential to be great. I love her family. I really want to see more of that. I love the fact that this beautiful chocolate couple is all over each other and they dress alike. Like they were matching. Like I love they're to me the epitome of Black love. And we don't see that a lot on Housewives. So I think Wendy has so much potential. I just want her to be empowered. I think Robin should go. I agree with you 100% that Gizelle will shine without her best friend. I think Gizelle needs to know that we have to shake this up. I don't think Robin is built for reality TV at all. She doesn't want to do it, and she needs to go. And Nneka, as of now, Nneka, we're only a few episodes in. I think you should be removed, because the way you came on, unless you give us something drastically different in the middle to the end of the season, I think it's a chop. And with Mia, I'm with you, baby. I want to see Mia date multiple men. I want to see her get spoiled at Barney's. I want to see Mia talk to her kids about the divorce. I want to see messy ass Gordon tell Mia, you marry me for money, and she says, and you marry me for my body. Now, what else is going on? I think Mia personal story could be the saving grace. So bye, Robin, Ashley. Let the rest stay. Bring me 2 new girls. and let's see what happens.
I like that. And I didn't think, usually I'm not here for the dissolution of a marriage. So typically I wouldn't want to see divorce, but in Mia and Gordon's case, that's going to be really, really good. I had a question. I put my finger up while you were talking about Robin because I had a question for you that I just remembered. Do you think her and Juan have an agreement for this show or an agreement within their relationship that either one agree? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Juan shows up because he knows that Robin is the breadwinner and she needs the check. And I believe that a conversation was had with Robin. In order for you to come back this season, we need to see more of you and Juan. I do believe that Juan, which who said this? Was it Mia's funny? I think we are underestimating how funny Mia is. When Mia said, I mean, where else is Juan gonna go? He ain't got no job. So what he gonna do?
Don't kick a man when he's down.
No, I'm just saying how funny Mia is.
I know.
No, I agree with you. Don't kick a man while he's down. But I say that to say, because he isn't working, Robin is a sole breadwinner. So you're seeing Juan, because of a conversation that allegedly was had with Robin to get her to come back. And Juan needs this check to work for Robin because it supports the family. But Robin is not built for reality TV. And I think Ashley should go on a dating show. And I would love to see her on like Too Hot to Handle. She's beautiful, great body, new boobs, like she looks great. And I want to see Ashley be that funny, pretty, flirty girl. I don't think Potomac is for you. So that's my 2 cents.
That's fair. I do. I feel I know we got to get out, but when you just mentioned that about Juan, though, I'm like, that's why Juan comes across that way. Because imagine how demoralizing it is and just how embarrassed he might be that he's on television and people are saying, like, he goes from this NBA player that's making all the money and has a stay-at-home wife, and now she's the one bringing in the money. He's losing his job. It's huge news. Like, that's embarrassing. So that probably contributes to just both of their attitudes this season of like, I don't want to do this shit. I have to, and I'm resentful of the fact that I have to do this.
Yes, he's resentful. He doesn't like it. That's why she needs to be removed. I believe you love him. I think he's there to be there. That's my opinion. And I think Robin has to figure out her home life before she gets back on reality TV, because I don't think mentally she's capable of handling the show. And I think she needs to remove herself. My opinion.
Well, so, I guess we will see.
Well, there we have it, guys. Another good episode. Well, with Jasmine Henley-Brown. Let the raindrops and the audience know where they can find you, follow you, and support all of your amazing work, my love.
Yes, I've been loving it. Every time I'm on your show, I get so many people into my YouTube. So thank you always for creating a platform for me. I'm on YouTube, Jasmine Henley-Brown, Jasmine with a Z, Jazmine. And I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, J Henley-Brown. And yeah, I mean, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Carlos.
No, thank you. And just so you know, Jasmine doesn't just only talk about like housewife stuff. If anything, she speaks about a wide range of like shows. So
yeah, all TV. Even though I made that video about House of Villains and they paid it, they're like, "Girl, we ain't here to see that. We don't care about that. Talk about what we want to talk about." Every time I try to talk about something that is not like Bravo related, the people be like, "Girl, did you watch so-and-so?"
Give the people what they want, baby.
They paid my little House of Villains video dust, honey, but it's okay. I'm about to talk about Married to Medicine. That should be up this week. So we back on track.
Welcome to how the consumer controls the economy, honey. Yeah. Yes. But no, I love you, sis, and I will see you soon. And Bye.